let me introduce you to the core syllabus. So there are two syllabus areas. So one is the essential elements of the legal system. In this, basically you study about the various systems which still exist in law. Some of them are common law, civil law, and Sharia law, right? Sharia law is the only law that comes from a religion, right, which comes from Islam. And all the other laws, basically they are traditions, practices, cases. All of that becomes the common law. And the civil law, basically it is the law practiced all across Europe, and it comes from the Roman law. And Roman law basically comes from the kings and their courts, whatever they have pronounced. So that's where this exactly comes from. Now, after which you will be doing international business transactions. So what are international business transactions? Basically buying, selling, import, export. So all those transactions, and what is the liability of the buyer, what is the liability of seller, what is the rights of buyer, rights of seller. So all of those things that will be covered under international business transactions. Then the next part will be formation and constitution of business organizations. Formation and constitution of business organizations, where we'll study about partnerships, companies, LLPs, right? So all that we're going to study in this chapter, formation and constitution of business organizations. Then the next part is going to be what is capital, the share capital, the debt capital, and how capital is formed, right? And how companies are financed. So capital and financing of companies. Financing of companies. What are the rules? Basically, these are the rules of the Companies Act 2006. So these rules generally they have to do with the rules of the Companies Act, right? Then the next part is management, administration, and regulation. So how it is managed. Administration is a separate concept in law, which is again very, very important, which is very closely related to insolvency, but it is not exactly insolvency. So management, administration, and regulation. Of companies. The next part will be legal implications related to insolvency and all. So legal implication, what happens and how insolvency is filed, and why and what are the steps, and how insolvency can be filed by creditor, by a shareholder, right? And also sometimes on the order of the court, insolvency is also filed, right? So we'll be doing that. So these are main focus areas of an F4 exam. So whenever you're giving an F4 exam, you don't have to study everything, right? In a competitive exam, you don't study everything. You study the relevant and the more important aspects, right? The good part about this is it's an MCQ exam. the bad part about this is that it's an MCQ exam, so no marks for guessing, right? There are no marks for guessing. There is one right answer to every question, and that you'll have to find out. Okay. One more very important thing as far as F4 examination is concerned, I'll just tell you the exam format, that there is a multi-task question, right? So there are 5 6-mark multitask, 6 marks, 5 questions which have 6 marks. There are multitask questions. They could be asking you not just MCQs, but some other things as well. So maybe they'll ask you a direct question as well, and you'll have to just fill in the answer, right? Or you might have to match different things. Probably they'll ask you to match the type of law with the some kind of judgment or some kind of whatever, an act. They'll say what law is covered in this act. So you'll then have to find out, is it criminal law, is it civil law, right? So all those things. That is again scoring, but confusing at the same time. So you'll have to take care of that. So this is legal implications relating to insolvency law. We are going to have very short sessions, and when I say short sessions, it means that probably it will just be probably 20 minutes, half an hour. We'll just give you a quick revision so that you can go back, do all the questions, come back the next time, then again a very quick revision of some other part, then again you go back, do all the questions the same day, then again come back and do all the questions, right? So that your preparation is whole soul, and not just, I mean, there's no point studying like 8 hours a day and remembering nothing the next day. It's going to be a 2-hour exam, right? So what I want you to do is give this half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, 20, 30, 40 minutes this goes on. It depends on the syllabus also, whatever time this goes on for. And then you go there, attempt the questions for 2 hours, so that your mind is trained for the next 2 hours to answer questions, because it's a 2-hour exam, right? So your mind has to be trained for those 2 hours, that you go there, sit there, and your mind starts giving you answers, because you've trained your mind in such a way, right? You know, Olympians train their body and their minds for months and months before the Olympics. Why do they do that? Because, you know, training of the mind is more important, because your body is already very good. As an athlete, I don't think anyone is an athlete without having a good body. You cannot remain an athlete if you don't have a good physique. But do you have that mind? And that's why people have those mental coaches, right? Why do people keep mental coach? To build your temperament. And this is what we do. We go back, we solve an exam every day. You go back, solve an exam every day. You come back and then see if there is anything that you missed out of the part that we've already done, or that you have already done. I'm not saying just do this part which you do in the class. Go and do other things as well, right? The last one would be corporate fraudulent and criminal behavior. It's going to be corporate and criminal behavior, right? How your exam format looks like. So it's a 2-hour exam, right? When I talk about the exam format, it's a 2-hour exam, right? How many marks are there? Sir, there are 50, 20, 70, and 30. So there are 20 plus 50 plus 30 marks, right? So it's a 100 marks exam, and you get how many minutes? 2 hours are 120 minutes. 2 hours are 120 minutes, and you get 100 marks, 100 questions. So for every question, you have how many minutes? 1.2 minutes per question. And this is how you have to think on these lines. So I would say just take 1 minute. This thing should be to take 1 minute per question and save around 0.2 minutes per question. And if you get like say per mark, this per mark. So once you are done, you save around 0.2 minutes per mark, right? And if you multiply it by 100, so you'll get 20 minutes. So you get 20 minutes extra in the exam, so that you can stay calm, don't panic, and go there, give your best shot. It doesn't matter what happens after that, right? Also, then it's going to be a CBE exam. You don't need any special thing, and you don't need a calculator or anything for this exam. It's a relatively easy exam. And even if you need, I think you've given F1 and F2. So, I mean, you are introduced to those things. But F1, F2, again, they are also MCQ exams, right? They're also MCQ based exams. So you really don't need any advanced calculators or anything for that. If you think you've done a question incorrectly, don't worry, right? Only one answer is right. If you don't worry, right? Even if you lose 1 mark, it doesn't matter. Focus on the rest. If you don't know 10 marks, what do? Do you worry about those 10 marks, or you focus on the 90 marks? If you don't know 10 marks, forget it. Just assume that you have a 90-mark paper. Target 90 marks. That's it. If you don't know 10 marks, obviously there is always a 5 to 10 mark that you will not know, or something that you don't remember at that time. We are humans. So that's how you have to go, right? Now, whenever you are attempting an MCQ, for an MCQ, see, there will be 4 options, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you think this is wrong, eliminate. This is wrong. 2 will be obviously wrong answers. They will look like wrong answers, so you can eliminate them. Then your choice is between this or this. So either this could be right or this could be right. Then you'll have to apply logics, apply whatever you have studied, right? Okay. So that's one of the things. As I already told you, we are going to start with the legal systems, essential elements of legal systems. Now, we'll do a very quick revision of the essential elements of legal system, probably just a small revision. I'll not complete the entire chapter of legal systems. Table of content, 1 second. Okay. Is that okay?
Just a second. Making notes of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Administration. Application. Application. Law. You mind moving it on the next page, dear sir, if I'm audible? Violent and criminal behavior. Okay, legal implications relating to insolvency law. Management, administration, and regulation of companies, capital and financing of companies, commission and constitution of companies. we'll move this slide. Corporate fraudulent and criminal behavior. It let's get it. Let's get started then.
Okay. So if you look at the various systems, first you will find that there are political systems, there are economic systems, and then due to those political, economic, and geographies of the world, you have the different legal systems. For example, if you look at India, there is India. It's covered by water from three sides. So obviously, you'll need the import laws to be very, very stringent, right? Because it's covered by water from three sides. The entire northern Asian trade is dependent on India. If you look at a large part of the trade, most of the people don't have sea. Most of the countries, they don't have sea, right? Also Russia gets a lot of its supplies via Indian route because India is a friendly neighbor, right? And that is how your political systems are made. That is how your economic systems are made. Economy depends a lot on geography, and we have a great fishing economic system, right? There's a huge system where fishermen, they fish the sea. Why? Because we have a huge sea and lot of rivers. We've got so many rivers, and that is why geography shapes economics, economics shapes politics, and politics will always uh, shape the legal systems. If you look at Sharia law, the Islamic law, why is it the way it is? There are certain rules because it's a desert. If you look at the Gulf countries, what are they? They are deserts. There is lack of water, and that is why the rule of sometimes washing your hands is different from the rule across the world. You don't use water the way it is used in other countries. Am I correct? Is it? And that's because of your geography. That's how your things are, right? So a lot of economic systems are because of geography, and because political systems are because of economics. So basically three types of economic systems are there. Can you tell me those? Market economy, US is an example. Planned India and India, I can say Cuba is an example. Russia, Cuba, all the communist countries. Mixed, you can say India is an example. India is a good example of all the communist countries. They have planned economy because they believe in the rationing, and government should control everything. I don't know why, but that's their law. And then if I ask you three types of political systems, two types of political systems. One is democracy and one is dictatorship. So if you look at dictatorship is North Korea, China also, you can say. Democracy, India, US, right? These are democracies, right? If you look at legal systems, so there are three major legal systems around the world. What are they? legal systems, 3 major legal systems around the world. So those are civil law, criminal law, no, not criminal, civil law, common law. Criminal law is not a legal system, it's a kind of law, it's a branch of law.
Yeah.
Common law and Sharia, right? So basically civil law, it originated in Europe, this originated in UK, and this is most of the Islamic countries, they follow their own version of Sharia. Sharia is open to interpretation, obviously. The Quran is open to interpretation. Just one thing, the existence of Allah. Apart from that, nothing is open to interpret. Everything is open to interpretation. There are some universal truths which are again not open to interpretation in Sharia, but again, most of the things are interpreted differently by different clerics. If you look at people around the world, so that's one thing, right? Okay, so now, okay, so I'll leave it here. I know it's an introductory class, and so I just don't want to take it, stretch it too far. But as time goes by, we'll pick up pace, and that's very obvious. So today is just an introduction and some things that I could tell you. Right? There's a lot to tell still. There's a lot to understand, and I mean, if you've read the books, you will know what it is, but you will not know why it is. When I tell you why it is the way it is, then you'll understand why this law was made, and you'll remember it in your mind, because behind every law there is a story. Those stories keep it connected within your brain, right? Okay, so we'll go at a brisk pace, not this slow, what we do today, because today obviously it included telling you the syllabus and the exam and all. Fine, so we'll meet next time tomorrow, and we've got around 8-9 days before you attempt your exam, right? You're planning on 15. Have you already booked it on 15? No. So we've got 8-9 days. We'll try and do as much as we can during that time. So yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you, Moaz. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you. Anything, I'm just putting you on, anything that you want me to clarify or something?
I'm pretty much clear. I have really studied it thoroughly, but the problem is whenever I'm doing a revision, there is a lot of data. That's why I feel like I'm very much misled, which is where I feel I need help, and that's where I look up to
I'm
you.
going to keep it very short and crisp, because it should just take you like an hour to revise everything.
Okay.
After this entire revision session that we have, it'll just take you 1 or 2 hours, 1 hour, that's it, to revise all these notes. I'm going to put these notes on the portal. You can get those notes over there. We don't have much today, so you don't need to take it down, right? It is going to waste your time and the class as well, right? We could cover a lot. You'll have all these notes. So this revision notes you'll get, right? In one bundle, you'll get all the notes. Okay. So it won't be a problem. So no need to take it down. Just anything, if you feel that, okay, this thing I've not studied and this I should take that down. All the other things that you'll get. Okay.
Sure, Mr. Satyar.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moaz. Have a great day.
Okay, Alvida. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.